pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing. Lord, we thank you for this time together as a district board. We ask for your guidance in making decisions that are in the best interest of our staff and our students. And we thank you for those staff members and our students. And we pray that as they enter these last days of the school year, that things will go smoothly and there would be some good memories made here in the last few weeks. We thank you for all of our administrators, and we pray your blessing on the whole campus. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. All right, we will officially call our meeting to order. The first thing on our agenda tonight is we have some Cobra Pride Awards. And the first up is Mr. Jay is going to present our National Merit Finalist.
Correct. Yes, ma'am. So back in October, we were able to tell you a little bit about the young man who qualified to be a semifinalist. So in February, he was notified that he moved up from semifinalist to a finalist. So out of those 16,000 students that were semifinalists, he made the halfway mark.
Wow.
And is a finalist as a National Merit Scholar. So we're really excited to be able to present him to the board and the Fountain Lake community. And he is a senior, so his week here will be very, very short with us. But Kristen Wendell, we just want to give Somebody wants to take pictures.
Yes. Okay. That was a wonderful accomplishment. Very, very good. Yeah, Cindy, we're going to do that.
Oh, my bad.
Remember we
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
This area. So Hazel, she's over there now. All right.
All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Very good.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Okay, and we're going to do some, Ms. McGuire. Okay, gotcha. I was not hearing correctly.
Yes.
But we're going to do some FCCLA awards.
Yes.
So tell us what you have got here.
So first of all, Ms. Dwyer, I teach family and consumer science, and the career and technical support student organization that accompanies family and consumer science is FCCLA. So FCCLA stands for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. You may have known these classes in the club more under its previous name, Home Ec and FHA. Okay? FHA, Future Homemakers of America. It changed in 1996.
Yeah, that was before us.
So anyways, we have tripled our size. I think our students have a lot to do with that because of their recruitment measures and because I'll say our support from our administration. We have a lot of support and we're able, pretty much anything they present as an idea, I say let's go for it and we get it approved and we try it and it's successful and students want to be part of it, so that's awesome.
That is awesome.
We as a chapter received several like recognitions. One of them is we were top 10 to register for State Leadership Conference, and we registered way in advance, so we got VIP seating at the front, and
nice.
that was really nice.
Yeah.
And then we were also top 10 in attendance for the State Leadership Conference, and we brought 23 with us, so we received an award as a chapter. And we also, as a chapter, earned the Gold Star Chapter Award. This was an award that there were 10 things that we had to do to qualify, and we crossed off 8 of the 10, so we qualified. And I will say last year we did not qualify, but it was basically because we didn't know what all we needed to do. And when we attended last year, we set a goal. We were going to qualify, and we did. So we were very happy about that. Last year also, we only had one team compete in STAR events, which STAR events is the competitive portion of FCCLA, and it stands for Students Taking Action with Recognition. So we only had one team compete last year. This year we had 17 compete. So that was really awesome. They went to regionals first, and then of the 17, 13 advanced to state. So that's what we're going to be awarding here today. I did not have them all present, but the ones I have, I'm happy to announce, and I will give all of them their awards, of course, back in class. But there are so many different ways they can compete, and so I will briefly share with you theirs. So we first have, and start on this side. We first have Faith Hannah. Yes. And I will also call her partner up because they competed as a partner. So Hannah Neighbors. And their event was called Repurpose and Redesign. So if they may, please just share with you for a couple of seconds what they did.
So we created a dress made completely out of melted together Walmart stuff. And then we added a cape to it. It was detachable cape, might I add. And it was also, and on the back of the cape, it was made out of, had recycled butterflies on it. Out of recycled paper from our classrooms. And we called it the Flutter Project.
Yes. And they involved classmates because they said, hey, if you're going to trash that paper, hold on, we want it. So their cape was beautiful and it drew a lot of attention at leadership conference.
And the dress was completely made out of Walmart bags.
Recyclable items.
Yes.
Wish we had pictures. We need to see some pictures.
I have them on my phone.
I want to see them.
Yes, great job though. And they're freshmen, so do you plan to compete in star events in the future?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all just step over.
When we're
here.
fit, okay. Step right over here,
Thank
ladies.
you, come over here. Yeah.
Okay, so next we have Isabella Molinax, and she competed in event management, so if you would share.
Okay, so I'm a 10th grader, and one of my advising teachers came up to me one day and was like, hey, we need to host an event for our class. So I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to host an event management star event. So I took advantage, I took control, I got up and said, hey, let's do this. So we did a 10th grade dodgeball tournament. And I hosted it for 96 plus students. I got approval from Mr. J. I wrote all the emails, I sent out all the notifications, I sent out everything. And I got this rolling, I helped coach, we did everything, and it turned out successful. It only took us 2 weeks tops, and everyone was really happy with how it turned out.
That is awesome. Yeah.
So next, Tristan Wendell. He's my senior. I'm gonna miss him. He's also one of my officers. Oh, come on up. Sorry, Tristan. His event was Chapter in Review. And would you share a little bit about what you did with he also worked together with 2 other officers, Summer Wood and Macy Bice.
So we had to create a portfolio that included all of the things that our chapter had going on, and also things like our budget and the growth of our chapter and our membership.
Yeah.
So is that like record keeping, archiving? Yes.
Which is a fantastic thing for him to leave behind. For
Yeah.
us.
Yes. Good job, Tristan.
Great. And I will piggyback one thing too. He was the only team last year that competed. So when I mentioned that, he was on that team and he returned this year and competed again. So I'm so glad for that. We're gonna miss him a lot.
Yeah.
Next I have Abby Lacaz. She competed under Promote and Publicize FCCLA. So if you would tell us a little bit about that, please.
So I did a slideshow about how our chapter has promoted FCCLA to the school and to the community and what all we did to do that.
And not only did she advance at regionals to state, but she advanced at state to nationals, which is in Colorado,
Wow.
which we are going this summer.
Yeah.
So
That is
this is another award for her, and that is the FCCLA National Star Event Qualifier.
Wow.
And that concludes that. I have-
What grade are you?
10th grade.
You got a young group then.
Yeah.
Very
Which
good.
is, that bodes well for the next couple of years, doesn't it?
Okay. Okay, good. And I do have several others. Should I say them?
I need you guys to just maybe scoot this way just a little bit so we get our, there you go.
Come on over there.
In the back.
Yeah.
Get all of you up there. Y'all go ahead first.
coming in.
Very good.
So how many other
Congratulations again.
students did you have?
Good luck.
Besides these here, you have how many?
10 or 12 more.
This year,
Okay.
congratulations. Congratulations.
Awesome, congratulations to all of you.
I love
Yeah, oh, sorry, Cindy. Those are some really creative things.
Talk about my wife.
That's some good stuff
Hey,
there.
get us a picture of that.
Oh, yeah, Ms. Dwyer? Ms. Dwyer?
Yes.
Can you, get a picture and like send
See that
it?
dress?
Yeah, we do. Send it to Mr. Campbell or Dr. Murphy or
And they'll
somebody,
email it to
so
us.
they can forward it to
Yes.
We'll
us.
send it on.
That would be awesome. We would love to see that.
Okay, great. Yes, I will. Thank you.
Okay. So the next thing on our agenda is the consent items. There was a lot on there. So if you have any questions, which I'm only gonna ask one on the, just for understanding, on the therapist contracts, Mr. Campbell. On the very last page, which it was hard to read because it was sideways and I couldn't figure out how to rotate it. What does, down in that green box, request for new contract, what does 71% distribution rate mean? Do you know?
It is a Medicaid statistic that Ms. Mushrush put on there. In 2023, the Medicaid distribution rate increased by additional 15%. So that is what she's talking about there, is that the distribution rate has gone up. This reimbursement rate increased,
Okay.
and so that decreased the distribution of Medicaid reimbursement to 63%. And I can tell you that I have no idea what any of that means, but
Okay.
what she was explaining on her graph is that the Medicaid reimbursement rate is now at 116.08.
Okay.
And the therapist rate that she has been paying is that $72 per hour. So there's still
Okay.
a pretty substantial differential between what we're collecting on the Medicaid reimbursement rate and what we're actually spending to get that money.
So we kind of base their rates on the rates that we get reimbursed at for
Correct.
Medicaid.
Yes,
We're paying 71% of the 116.
Okay,
there you go.
all right.
And the other thing with that is that what's a notable element is since 2009, we've had a constant contracted rate of $72.
Right.
If we're seeking an increase there
Mhm.
at that point in time. And as you can see, the reimbursement gap, if you will, that it is grown, and so it should be able to reimburse the new rate.
Okay. So we also just, and if Ms. Mushross was here, I'll ask her, but, we have 2 OTs and 2 occupational and 1 physical therapist. Do we have any speech therapists on staff?
They're on staff, they're on teacher salary. They're
Okay.
district employees.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for answering that question for
And
me.
there are 2 of them.
Okay. I figured we did, but I just didn't know why they weren't in there. All right. Are there any other questions on the consent agenda items? If not, we are going to consider them all approved by unanimous consent. And we are going to move into the superintendent's update, and I asked Mr. Campbell if he would move the building reports up to the top, because I know our administrators are running and gunning this month, and probably have things they need to get done. So, we've got the elementary report first. Mr. Campbell or Ms. Curry? Y'all want to talk about it? Tell us what y'all got going on, because I know you got a lot going on.
We do. It's a very busy April and May to end our year. We've been focusing a lot on our end of the year assessments, determining proficiency levels for next year. We met as an RTI team, already getting our intervention groups ready for the current next year when we start in August, first or second week of school. We've been working with our summer school staff to plan that, and looking at our professional development along with our new literacy curriculum, and then setting our professional growth goals for the staff and teams for the upcoming year. And along with that, we have a lot of activities. Probably the most talked about one is the last one, so I'll read the top ones first.
Yes.
We have preschool and kindergarten graduation coming up on next Monday. Preschool's in the morning, kindergarten is in the evening, so if you would like to join us, we always have a really good attendance for that. Usually in the auditorium in the evening it's packed and you can't find anywhere to sit, so they do a neat little program. Field day hopefully is this Thursday, but it's rain right now, so we're going to wait till tomorrow to decide if we have plan B. And then we have our student and staff dodgeball game, the 4th graders heading on to middle school on Friday. And then the last one, which I did speak with you and Corey about just a little bit, was we are relocating some grades and classrooms to better fit our academic and safety needs on campus.
How good feel the rest of the boarding, as Corey and I got a little preview of that. So.
Yes. So we are relocating preschool to the back of the 2-4 building, the last 3 second grade rooms that are current second grade rooms, because there's that end entrance right there where they can enter and exit off Coker Drive. Parents can have easy access and not be in the middle of all of our K-12 traffic. You know, with our littles, it's quite a bit of a safety issue with them, you know, being let out of a car. And currently right now they're dropped off at Safe Room B, they get on the bus, they drive all the way down. So this will hopefully alleviate some of that and make it a lot more safe for them. Plus they'll be right next to our Safe Room B, which is the, in the event of a tornado, then they will have that, which is much smaller than down here with the rest of our campus. So we're gonna probably look at a new playground behind Safe Room B for them so they can have all of that there. And so then we kind of shifted all of our grade levels down. Probably the most significant one, we moved 4th grade to the specialty wing. They're kind of a transition to middle school, a little bit older students. We have 4 sections in 4th grade next year, so we're gonna have them down there. They have their own restrooms. And then we're gonna relocate art and music to our K-1 building. And then the rest of the classrooms just kind of shift down, basically.
But basically, all of your teachers are moving.
Not all of them.
Not all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's probably about 7 that aren't.
That aren't?
Pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
You know, and they've been really good sports about it.
And you are doing this before school lets out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just kind of packing up just a little bit as we go, and then our plan is kind of that last week of school, when we have some time in between our activities to kind of do that.
So you're going to design some activities for clarity, and that allows for some of the transitions to occur and
Yes.
try to get them repurposed into their new space prior to the summer.
Yeah, so then we can have summer school and our maintenance
Correct.
staff, you know, they have a very busy summer. So
Correct.
not to take up that with them. So we're able to get our 2 specialty art and music into the K-1 building. So now our students do not have to go out of the building from campus, because we know, you know, we don't have fences everywhere. A lot of times we have runners, so they don't have to leave the building to go anywhere except for libraries now. So that's going to be a good
Runners?
safety thing. We do have some. So.
Escapees.
Yeah, escapees, but we're able to also get back. I'm able to take 2nd and 4th grade down to 4 sections instead of 5 due to numbers. And so that gives me 5 additional rooms that I can use for intervention space, special ed space, therapy space. And then in the event that we needed to add a section back, we get a whole lot more kids and we grow again, then I can easily take those rooms back. Okay. But right now it's given us some much needed space that we haven't had in a long time, so.
So this is going to be like an extreme makeover home edition show.
Yes.
Where the homeowners leave for what seems like 30 minutes and
Yeah.
they come back and it's like, boom, here's your new house.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So.
Send the kids to recess and say, when you come back, guess where your room is, you know.
But we're really excited about, like I said, just some of the changes that are going to help meet our academic needs and safety needs for our kids too, so.
That's a big thing.
Change is good, so we're
It
excited.
is. And on the student, on the Yeah, student staff dodgeball game. I
Oh,
think
yes.
Corey is the only board member that has
Oh, is he
volunteered to
coming?
come and play.
Okay, sure.
I had a
You're
personal
welcome.
invite, so.
Yeah,
If you want to join the staff side, we usually don't win.
Yes,
So
I
you
am.
come help us.
the rest of us.
You're
want
It
to-
starts at 8:30, so you're welcome to join us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rest of us
It's
want to
always
keep
a
all of
fun
our
event.
limbs working.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Program.
blackout day, so you have to wear black. That's our thing. So.
That's a lot. Y'all have a lot going on, and
We
I
do.
know. I hope it's a good transition on the last week.
You always have really good staff attendance too.
Yes,
Just
we do.
wanna
I was
point
gonna
that
say
out.
this. Well, it
It's
was-
always amazing.
It was almost 99.
Yeah.
It was 98.6, but I didn't want to round it up. But yeah, we had some really good attendance this time. They've done a really good job this year, being here for our kiddos. So.
Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Any questions for Ms. Curry? If not, Ms. Inman is going up next with the middle school report.
That's me. We don't really have a lot of major changes that we have, but I do want to point out we are still really happy with our trending data regarding discipline. We are down at 67%, and this time of year is really, really hard. And so I think that feels good for people to actually see on paper that it is better. But we are kind of in the same place that the elementary, we're working with our CKLA to get prepared for our new curriculum that we'll be using for English language arts and just kind of shaping up what we want summer school learning to look like. So I wrote our curriculum for 5th through 8th grade for summer school, so they'll have a personalized approach based upon the data that we had from this year. So we have a much smaller group for summer school. We only have about 15 kids total, so it gives us a ability to have, kind of more personalized to meet their needs. So we're excited to see how that goes. So we'll have 2 teachers and about 15 kids, so we have all that together. And then we have a lot of events that are coming up at the end of the year, so lots of things that we're doing, this week for teacher appreciation. And then something new that we're going to be doing at the middle school is that we will be having an 8th grade graduation. So on our 4th 9 Weeks Awards, we will be having 8th grade graduation for those students, and they will wear a little stole and we'll have honor cords for our 4.0 students, and we're really excited just to honor them on that day. So if you're free, we would love for you to join us for that. And our big field trip is coming up. Our kids are going to be campers for a day at Brook Hill Ranch.
Fun.
And we are really excited to take them somewhere local and allow them to experience all the fun things that Brook Hill has to offer. So that's what we have. And I have one really exciting thing to announce. We were so nervous about testing, but we can proudly say 100% of all of the middle school students were tested. So
That is amazing.
we felt really good about that.
Yes, that is quite an accomplishment, I'm sure.
We felt like it was. We had to go find some.
Yeah, have to hunt them down.
And that's every student.
Every
ALE
single
students,
student.
expelled students, all students.
Yes.
So on Friday, you are doing Meet Me in the Middle for your 4th graders that are coming up.
Yes.
Is that just for the students or their
So that
parents?
is just for the students. So we've kind
Okay.
of made a little bit of change to what they've done in the past. I just experienced that last year as a 4th grade teacher. And then as an incoming principal, a lot of the information that we shared at the end of the year, they didn't remember then when the first of the year came. Or we had new staff, new programs, and so they may have downloaded apps that were no longer relevant. So we decided to just do that with the students at the end of the year right now. And then in the fall, we will hold an orientation, kind of like the high school does for 9th grade. We're gonna hold that same orientation for 5th grade so that we can bring them in. It'll be just them in the building, tour them, give them their schedules, and give them the information that we know is actually happening
Yeah.
in the fall. So much changes
That
over
makes
the
more
summer.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we felt like it was Miss Davis and our counselor, Miss Pryor, just kind of brainstormed just to see what we thought, may work best.
Good.
So, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Good information. Any questions for Ms. Inman? If not, we'll let Mr. J do our high school report.
We don't have a whole lot going on this week, so.
Right.
So I will say, back in the where it was last night, our senior class did a great job of organizing all of everything that went on last night. Ms. Keys did a nice job helping supervise our kids, but that entire event was planned through them. We were also glad to see almost half the class last night as well. And so that was a great thing. Ms. Keys reminded me that was probably the first back and work we've had since 2019. So, big night for last night. Tomorrow night, senior awards in Safe Room A starts at 6 o'clock. We do have a guest speaker who's a former graduate from Fountain Lake. You've heard his name pop up a few times. Chuck Ragsdale, retired gunny sergeant from the Marine Corps, will be our guest speaker. Of course, graduation Friday night. You guys need to be there between 6 and 6:15. I didn't put that in there for you. We do have some students who are graduating on the 19th from Arkansas Career Development. We have 3 of those students, and that'll be at 9 a.m. And then obviously we see semester tests coming up. Summer school for us starts on the 5th. We won't know the numbers until probably May 25th.
Okay.
Simply because it's a question of credit recovery at this point for us. We still have students who need to recover credit from the fall, and then we'll add the ones from the spring semester, and then we start on the 5th of June.
So you won't have your numbers. Ms. Inman has 15. Do you know how many you're going to have, Ms. Curry?
Yes, 175.
Summer school?
Yes.
175?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Thumbs up.
That is remarkable.
We haven't had
is
that big of
thumbs
a group, a couple years, it's been a couple years, so we're really excited about it. I think extending the time, because we're, it's gonna be
Going all
from
day.
7:30 to 2:30
Yes.
instead of
Yes.
shorter, so it's
How
gonna be a good
many
thing.
teachers are you using to do your summer school?
Well, each grade band has at least two
Okay.
adults, sometimes 3, so
Okay.
as
That
many
is
as we can
wonderful.
get. And some of them, are encouraged to come, and some just come because they want to.
Yeah.
So it's a great little, small group setting for them to connect
Yes.
with different people and then have some fun.
Yes.
So, and we run our 5th and 6th graders through phases, so our 5th and 6th runs into their numbers, and then our 7th and 8th is standalone. So they're not, because they're too old for phases.
Right.
So that's kind of how that.
Okay. Well, good deal. Okay, any questions for Mr. Jake? Thank you, administrators, for being here, and I hope that if moving y'all up in the agenda allows y'all to accomplish some other things y'all might need to. So don't feel like you have to stay if you don't have anything else on the agenda that's pressing you, because we know you're busy. Let's do a quick financial review. Dr. Murphy?
First and foremost, thanking our administrative team this time of the year, getting this close to the finish line, not there yet. I know there's been a lot of decisions that you've had to deal with either spontaneously or in short periods of time as wrapping up the end of the school year. So just a formal thank you to our leadership team and the work that they do daily. With that, the only thing I will draw your attention to as it relates to balances is I want you to think about the generalization of cash flow throughout the summer. Roughly, you have about $4.5 million in the bank currently as a total amount of ending balances. Now you can see it exceeds 5.2 million. So it's up slightly. I did talk to Tanya. We looked historically at what May revenue trends should be. We anticipate as we begin to think about closing out the year, we should receive between Saline and Garland County. If we look historically, we should receive about an additional $2.2 million in revenue. We will pay out roughly $825,000 in 3 final payrolls at about $2.4 million. So you have a good fund balance. If you chose to look at that for a variety of options, as you look at these summer projects and you look at other financial decisions that the district may embrace or embark upon, there is some flexibility based on the balances that you build. So is there any questions in relation to the balance of the cash flow as we enter into the summer? The next item on the agenda for me would be the reflection of the budget as a whole. You know, I kind of presented this in the context of a new budgetary summary. The only thing that I would bring to the board's discretion that is new in the processing based on the challenges of the staffing model and thinking about our transitions with the LEARNS Act, I went back to the secondary building after the career coach was approved and sat down with Mr. J and Mrs. Keys and really began to think about her transition. And just point blank, I said, you work as long as you want to work, but I've got to protect the transition for high school programming. And are you planning on next year being your last year? And she said, yes, that is 100% her plans. And so I presented a concept where we would create a transition as we're bringing in a new career coach. What I'd like to be able to do is advertise for a guidance counselor and see what we get right now. And if we could find the right one, we could allow Mrs. Keys to work with both of those two individuals and our student body in the transition, and also possibly help out with the testing element as well, as we kind of think about building our guidance program moving forward. Secondary program specifically as it relates to guidance has a lot of moving parts. And you don't want institutional knowledge to walk out the door and be a phone call away if you can afford to hire into a transitional process. And so that would be our intention, would be to advertise that position and see if we could come up with a qualified candidate to build out our program so that in her retirement next year, it would give us the latitude to have all of our pieces in place, everyone working in unison, and as we hit the ground that following year, the other piece of this that you've got to understand is LEARNS is going to bring an enormous amount of challenges to the administrative team as a whole in several things with programming at the secondary level. So I feel like it's a good recommendation, but it is new to you here this evening. I visited with you about it this morning. I visited with Mr. J on Friday. And, you know, I did link in the employee resignation and employment list, just so you would have that for your discretion to review. But when you think about, you know, I'll just talk in the aspect of new positions and positions we're not replacing. You're still about 1.5 FTE to the positive when you look at how many people are leaving that you're not replacing, how many of these new positions do you have on the table, the affordability within the budget we feel comfortable with, as I've talked to Mr. Campbell and the leadership team regarding that. So I don't find it to be a financial constraint, and I think it would be a great advantage to the secondary programming if we at least advertise. The other thing it does in this market currently, if we don't find the right person, we wouldn't have to hire and could still move forward, but our goal would be to try to see if we could hire the right person for that position. So any questions in regards to that concept or any concerns with moving that forward? We will plan on advertising for a high school guidance position, and we will call it a transitional period of 1 year, of course, with this new employee remaining on board. And Mrs. Keys is, you know, after this upcoming school year, this will be her retirement year eligibility.
Yeah.
So,
That sounds like a good plan.
next item that I have, just a very brief update. If you notice, they paved against the curb property of the school. That's all the way down from where you exit out. So from Fox Pass all the way up to the roundabout, talk to them. They're going to turn around and take it down the other side, and then they will pave out the middle. It's exciting that we're seeing this level of progression with our project. The unfortunate thing that I have to tell you, if you have not heard, the expressway was delayed again with movement within the bridge, and the new opening date for what we call the expressway or the bypass will now be October.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Yeah. This is like the project that will never be finished.
So with that, we will move quickly out of item F.
Yeah.
And I have linked in for you Cliff Notes version that was developed from the State Department related to the LEARNS Act, and I'll link that in. You can kind of peruse that at your own discretion. As in regards to policies, we are not adopting the policies this month. There's about 3 or 4. I didn't bring my notes in here. I found 3 policies that I found 3/4 of the way through all of the scanning that would be optional in nature. The rest of them would be required. And this, of course, is from ASBA. For anyone listening, there's probably roughly, with the LEARNS Act, modifications of policies that exceed 6 pages. And if you slow down just for a minute, each one of those is a policy, and that is a heading associated with that specific policy. So as we embark on this upcoming school year, our leadership team will be challenged with some of the things that we're going to face initially is salaries and compliance and emergency clauses, and then several things will be written into rules and regulations for the upcoming year and actually go into effect the year of 24-25. So the next 2 to 3 school years will be, it'll be walking into that transitional change that LEARNS brings to the table. With that, I'm not going to go through the policies at this point. Do familiarize yourself with them. We're probably going to, with the magnitude of what we have to begin a policy review. Just as an example, even in the context, we had a conversation in a public comment section on foreign exchange.
Yes.
So foreign exchange moves to a ratio of 1 to 50 at a minimum. So we would have at a minimum the potential to have 8 foreign exchange students, along with latitude where you'd have to offer either semester, as we discussed, or full year opportunities. So that would be at a minimum. That's a policy change. And I contacted Mrs. Keys on that today, just to make her aware of that, and then emailed Mr. Campbell and Mr. Jay in relation to that. But there will be a lot of these just little subtle changes, if you will, to programming, program description codes, billing, virtual education. I do truly believe you need to get some people at the helm of secondary programming to even stand a chance to lean into the LEARNS and embrace it and come out on the other side meeting the obligations of the Act. So with that, if you don't have any questions for me at this point, I'll turn it over to Hayden.
Can I ask you one question?
Sure.
Just real quick. When y'all get ready to start looking at policy, have we ever had a board member sit on the policy review committee?
We could.
I think it would be a good idea,
Okay.
just to have a board member who can listen in and sort of learn.
So probably what I'd recommend there, just to manage time, we could set some distinct windows of time, and they could call in or Zoom in, because the biggest challenge with setting in on that is the amount of time it's going to take, because I was kicking around maybe designating like an hour to an hour and a half with some degree of frequency with certain members of the leadership team, so we can make sure that we, get through understanding some of the implications of it. But I'm not opposed to it. The biggest thing is just the element of the time commitment.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about that later.
Okay.
I was just curious. Okay. So, Mr. Campbell, or Hayden?
Yes,
Hayden. We're going to Hayden next. Capital improvements.
All right, so some of y'all attended a little board walkthrough with SSC. So some of these items we have talked about with 2 of you. So number 1 on our list, this is a prioritized list. We had a middle school officer model as number 1, just for security, safety enhancements for that area. If you go back, starting in 2018 until now, we've done a really good job. We started off with the high school slight remodel where we put in an additional door, which is the second method, second step of security before you get buzzed into our hallways. We did the same practice 2020, 2021 in the elementary office space. So So this is just taking that to the middle school as well. Mr. Campbell's going to click on that blue link there, under number 2. We just got this number last Friday. I had him split this in sections where if we wanted to pull something off, we could. So we're looking at $69,500 just for the front entry remodel. Pretty good price. Dealing with all that glass work, new doors, everything going in. I feel really good about it. Moving down, we have the middle school exterior upgrades. So that's where you have that 10 by 25 and 8 by 25 canopy system. You're looking at $61,900 just for that exterior canopy. And it's just, that's the aluminum price going right now. Aluminum is extremely high.
And that is a standard traditional canopy,
Correct.
similar to our other canopies. It's
Yes.
not any, you remember we had several
Fancy.
discussions around a fancy canopy.
Right.
Yes.
And we
Just
address,
basic canopy.
Yeah.
and we address several issues. We've always had an HVAC issue in that front corridor when you walk in. As soon as you open up those 2 entryway doors, just the recovery time, the appropriate HVAC is very low. So as frequent as the doors open and close morning, afternoons, the recovery time is almost none. So this place is a 2-ton unit in between where Mary's office is at, that front desk, and that whole corridor. I know I showed y'all 2 pictures of what that looks like, removing that one wall, comes out of the way. So if you're walking into the middle school corridor, that front door, front wall to your right gets removed. That door is removed. If you're looking at Miss Mary's desk, her desk stays. Where you have that hallway that takes you back towards the office, there would be a door out there, door, metal frame, and they will have a glass wall that goes across with 2 pass-through stations where you could service, Tracy or Mary could, service at the same time. We would put an extra iPad up front for visitor management piece. So this really opens that whole area up. Where that wall gets knocked out, we do LVP flooring there to cover up where the existing wall was, kind of bring that little good facelift to the front of that office, paint, LVP at the same time. So I feel that the price is really good considering today's market, what we're dealing with $320 to $330 a square. So pretty good price for what we're dealing with for security enhancements.
Okay.
So if we chose to do it all, you have that guaranteed price of not to exceed $147,315. What's not included in that price, if we choose to do the security bollards out front, these are what you may see like in front of Walmart, where you walk in, those security bollards where no one could drive through. We can add that for an additional $21,600. There's quite a few of those that would go in place. 12 total. Any questions on the front office? Okay. And we did have that as a priority 1. Moving down, we want to address the 2-4 hallway and bathroom and office situation. We have ecobee thermostats in every building on campus. We get really nice generative reports that come every month. Humidity levels, climate control, either issues, just reports on general efficiency ratings. And the 2-4 building is our worst performer. This is not necessarily in the classrooms. When that building was constructed, just like many, our hospital's the same way, but not as bad. The hallways are not climate controlled at all. So this really brings that 2-4, all the hallways, all the wings that shoots down each side, and addresses the office issue. I say office, it's now the just intervention space. So we're looking at right at $40,000. I think the quote came in at $38,900, so I just put 40 on there. And so we can look through that list. If we have any questions that just stand out, I did reach out to RDOT. If we look down on student parking, that gravel parking lot that's here to the south of us, we're looking at, where is that total? $128 to get the whole thing paved. Really good price on that as well. We're only doing a 2.5 inch worth of asphalt. When we start putting heavy machinery, like when we're driving around our campus, we like to do at least 3 to 4 inches just because of bus weight. Any type of large vehicles that may weigh over 20,000 pounds, we try to get a little bit thicker asphalt. But since we're not parking buses, 18-wheelers on that student parking lot, we can get away up 2.5 inches, which puts us at a pretty competitive price.
Plus, we had a compaction rate in the original project.
Right.
Yeah.
It was less, it was tested, scoped, so we've got a good foundation here.
Right. We did get a quote, as you can see, for LED lighting in that whole area. Some of that we could do in-house. You know, we could rent some machines where it's not completely turnkey. We could do and save maybe $10,000 worth of work if we did a little bit of stuff ourselves, but not a huge amount of savings there.
But you also have to admit that right now you're down an employee
Correct.
and bus garage and it's covering a little bit
Right.
one for another. So, you know, everything we're looking at doing, we're trying to bid these projects based on, we've got another list there below that we're gonna, a lot of that may end up being things that our people
Right.
can perform on. And so these
Yeah.
are major projects that you're trying to contract.
Right. And what I would say, everything besides item 2, the middle school, everything going down, those are turnkey numbers. What I will say, item 2, the middle school office remodel is a tips tax bid. Hill and Cox is a tips vendor. All these others were just sold prices I got directly from the vendor, being over $20,000. I would have to go out and bid all these and try to get at least 3 bids. So that price could be a little bit lower than what we're looking at. That's a
These
good
are
budgetary numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what's the above the green line and below the green line? Is below the things you're going to do this summer, for
Yes,
sure?
those are planned
Okay.
expenses.
Those are planned, okay.
So what's kind of above the green line, your threshold of $400,000 kind of resides there down about item line 6, 7. Where the gap there where we don't have a number, so the parking lot asphalt, based on when they release the parking lot back to us, could be an item that ends up in the following budgetary year. It could be moved either direction. It just takes you above the boundary of the original $400,000 of allotment of capital improvements. So that kind of allows you to stay kind of framing within budget. You could cherry pick an item below. I would be inclined that 9, 10, and 11, I would probably move 9 up before the other 2, just based on, even though priority for ACing all buses, that would be taking those directly to the company.
Correct.
And that's turnkey as
It
well.
is, yes.
Because we had a question a couple months ago, I think Corey, you had asked what's it cost to retrofit, how many buses we have remaining. How many of those, and it may be a question you can answer, would be additional route buses versus what we call event buses?
Those would be all for our route buses.
So basically half the route buses, we've got 17
Correct.
technical routes, so about half of the route buses have AC.
Right.
That what we'd like to do at this point in time is authorize him to move forward with this scope of work. And I prioritize lighting over the asphalt solely because there is an extended period of the year where, you know, we've tried to put up a little bit of just solar lighting and some entries. It's not sufficient. And that is an area that, especially for ball games, we get a lot of overflow parking in, and even going back up the hill, it's an area we need to light up.
Right.
We don't need to use it 3 or 4 years without getting it well lit. Someone could potentially have an injury, and then there's liability association with allowing that usage without, you know, we have that generator up there. I mean, we could go a different route, but a different route
Well, it's
is a
gonna be
reoccurring
necessary at
cost. This is
some
something we
point
need to do.
anyway. It's just something you're gonna have to do. You've gotta light your parking lots.
Correct.
Yeah. Do we have a motion tonight to approve this? Are we going to?
There's not a motion within the new business items.
But you want us to just verbally tell you?
I just
you can go
need
get bids?
authorization to proceed with items where we would come down to the subtotal of 402 and give him authorization to proceed.
But didn't we say some of these aren't really firm numbers?
Yeah, I would have to.
Couple of them have to bid.
You'll have to bid. I have to, yeah.
And then we'd have to approve them individually
Yes.
as bids.
Unless you need something changed in the priority list that we don't want to bid, that's how we'll move forward and bid everything, get it back to you if you're good with
Okay.
moving forward.
Yeah, number 2, we did not have to bid since
We're
they
ready to
were
go with
bidders.
number 2.
Right.
We'll authorize moving that forward. The only question that would be, you're staring at 147. there'd be an extra 21 if we did the bollards. My
Correct.
recommendation would be that you complete the entire project with the bollards. The bollards allows for us to protect the facility. That is a stick frame facility, and we would like to place these bollards in front of the building all the way. We don't have a picture.
I should have linked that.
Does
in.
it go the length of the
I'll
building?
email it to you. I can have.
12 will go all the
Yeah,
way
12
across the
will.
middle school though.
No.
What's that? Well, what
It's
they're
only 12?
doing is they're tying into the
12
corners, the middle, just basically the island, and then you got handicap parking to the right, handicap parking to the left, and they extend right there, and you might be saying, well, shouldn't the curb take care of that? It won't take care of a line of sight entry when
Right.
someone's jumping a 3.5, 4-inch curb.
Right.
And it's actually come to, after we get past capital improvements, we get down to our safety security grant. It is now on our priority 2 items, like even if we get grant funding, moving on past this year to next year, that is one of our qualifiers that we have to have now in front of every entryway. So the
Okay.
security bollards. So that is coming down the pipeline
Yeah.
for all schools, all entryways.
Well, if that's coming down, then you might as well do it while you're doing this project. It
I
makes
don't
sense.
say that because they're gonna be mobilized, they're gonna be on site and overseen.
Right, that makes sense. Y'all have any objections to them proceeding to get bids on the other items, but
Okay.
moving ahead on remodel?
Just timeline wise, normally I have to advertise for 2 weeks. Is our state minimum.
On the middle school?
No, middle school
Middle
is
school
good.
ready.
On items, yeah,
Did
3,
we
3,
Did we
7.
vote to approve that expenditure in a prior meeting? Do we need to?
I would
officially-
recommend that if you could formalize a motion to approve the amount to the middle school renovation unit
Alright,
on
so
record.
verbally make us a motion, Brian.
Okay, let me pull that back up real quick. Look at it.
Yeah, the actual remodel, so that it's officially on record.
All right, we're gonna include the,
Yeah, we are gonna include the security bonds.
okay.
It's in that price of 147,
No.
No, it's not, it's in addition
It's an
to.
additional.
And at the very bottom, it adds 21,600. So that makes it 169, let's call it 160, not to exceed 169,000. 170,000.
Let's say 170.
Yeah, 170.
Okay, got a motion to approve middle school office remodel, including exterior awning and security bollards in an amount not to exceed $170,000.
Right.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. So that is officially on the record that we are approving that.
We'll forward you, or Dr. Murphy will, the images of what's going to look like.
Okay, good.
Me too.
All
It
right.
looks good.
So Hayden, you have some more things for us?
Yes.
You have a lot this month. Hayden's busy.
Last month.
Hayden's been busy.
It's been off with the baby.
So this is the safety
It's
security
kitchen.
grant. We got this, Dr. Murphy got the letter in, I want to say late last month. So this is our school safety grant that came in. We were awarded 157.2, I believe, no, 157.4. So if you don't have the full, well, we went over, I think, 2 board meetings ago.
You've
what we're
seen
doing.
the
So
allocation
you've seen
that
it.
we had.
Yes.
So that 157 will be a mix of reimbursements with new purchases. New purchase, Chief Raleigh and I walked through the whole campus doing the 8 mil film, which will go on all lower level windows on our campus.
Okay. All right.
Samsara, we have we use Verizon Fleet Connect for the last 4 years on our school buses to monitor them. They really jumped our price up high. That was with Verizon Fleet Connect. Spent a lot of time doing some research. This is probably the #1 platform. We end up spending, I think, $1.50 more per month going up to them than we were on Verizon without the price hike. So very slick platform. One thing that, instead of getting the weeds of all of it, one very nice feature that's really going to benefit the community is we always get phone calls to our offices, hey, I live at this address, what bus comes by my house? So this platform, when our bus drives the routes, it runs the normal routes, we can click on the screen, yes, this is the route for that bus. So now you can go to our website after this summer when I link it in, and you can search, type in your address in, hit search, and it'll tell you what bus was by your house. So then you know what bus to get on. So,
Okay.
and we will be rolling out a parent app too that does check in, check out for all of our kiddos across the campus. So mom, dad, or guardian will be able to do a whole bus rider management piece and student check in, check out through their phone too. And all that ties in with our Samsara dashboards.
Good.
Yeah. So we're excited
Good
about
job
that.
doing that research.
And we're really excited about it. It's a great platform. So
Good.
this is Operations Hero. This is a state mandate, so we didn't really have a choice on this one. You know, we worked really hard to have a
Never
all.
school dude.
Yeah, no more school
Oh, no
dude.
more school dude?
No more school
Dude's
dude.
gone.
Well, you know, we worked really hard to have a one single pane of glass, and our teachers, I know, will really, or have always have loved it in the last 3 years. We swapped over to Happy Fox. So we have, you know, our maintenance.
What is that?
Yeah, it's our work order system, our current work order system.
Happy thoughts?
Happy Fox, FLX.
I thought you said
I
happy
did too.
thoughts.
Happy
Like,
Fox.
happy thoughts.
I would be happy.
Yeah.
So our current one has built in where you can do maintenance work order, transportation work order, bus request, vehicle request, technology. So we're gonna have to pull the maintenance piece out. This can be required by the state where we have to use Operations Hero. So we're a little disappointed in that piece, but Operations Hero so far, demos have been great, really easy to use interface. So we will be required to use that moving forward after July 1st.
But this will only do the maintenance piece?
Only maintenance. It will do more
Okay.
if we purchase the modules for
Add-ons.
TED, cafeteria. They don't have, we started down that path. They did not have our cafeteria piece. They just didn't have a vehicle management piece or room bookings yet.
Okay.
So we're gonna hold off for a while.
Okay.
Item C is our Dawson COVID grant. Mr. Campbell forwarded me an email back in April and saying that we need to apply for it. Applied for within 2 days, we were approved. I have this as a motion. We necessarily don't have to have a motion for it, but I figured just for best practices in auditing, we're cutting check more than 20, let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
They said once this is approved, we'll get reimbursed within 3 days. So we should be seeing our money back here pretty soon. And that is a actionable item below.
It's,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
Software evaluations, item F. This is more on the tech side. John, myself, and Mark have been sitting down for almost 2 months now. We're going through 52 pieces of software, really everything from A to Z regarding technology, not in the classroom, really just back-end things. We've come up with about $30,000 in savings so far.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're really excited about it. Those two guys are in for it this summer, so we're gonna have a huge overhaul on everything. No new hardware expenses, it's just back-end software management, things like that.
Cool.
So,
Well, I like that.
it's been a lot of work. So Josh, the SSC, can take over the slideshow.
Welcome, Josh.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, guys. All right, this one's gonna be a little different. Dr. Murphy kind of had me add another slide in the back of it for the new business section.
Okay.
For the the Cobra field in there.
Yep.
All right, in my opinion, one of the things that sets SSC aside from everybody else is our great management team. These guys are experienced, they have all the experience that we need. If we don't know how to do something on site, we can always reach out and we got it. So,
You can go too fast.
no, you're fine, you're fine. Some of the goals that we set this year were to ensure that you, our clients, are satisfied with the services that we provide, establish a bridge of communication to all staff, and maintain a working environment that's safe for all students and staff. In order to ensure that we are doing everything we can to service the needs of Fountain Lake School District, SSC sends out a monthly satisfaction survey. We only had one survey come back that was actually on the bad side, but after meeting with the building admin, I was able to tailor a plan that actually fit their needs, and everything's good. We've had another survey that went to them, and we got an A+ on that one, so
Good.
things going good there. We've tried really hard, and we've come a long way with bridging the gap of communication. It was a struggle at first, but Now, we've gotten pretty far with that with our QR codes. What?
We've got it down.
Yes, we got it down.
So you have QR codes?
Yes, we had a QR code in the beginning that's kind of like the Happy Fox that they use here for everybody to report through that. But they just go through, scan the QR code, it's right there if you want to try it out. You can go in and put a complaint in for whichever building you're in, for what room, what the problem is. It's for compliments as well. We've had a lot of good feedback with that as well. The district provided us with an email address at FL Cobras. And the business cards is a big deal. When we're doing walkthroughs, I always invite John Dufresne here with us. He hands out his business cards. All of the big bosses hand out their business cards. They want to hear what's going on here at Fountain Lake, whether it be bad or good. So it's all been good so far. We'll try to keep it that way.
And John, how often are you on campus?
I'm usually here at least once a week.
Okay.
Sometimes more times, maybe a couple hours each time, but I usually spend about a day here.
On the safety aspect of things, we use a origami inspection. I know it sounds like we're sitting there playing with paper, but we're not.
Folding?
We're not,
Yeah.
I promise. It's an app that we use on an organizational basis. Like, we can go in and do inspections for hazardous material, safety, for violations of PPE violations, fire code violations, that sort of thing. We also have a safety incentive called Safety 365. After all the criteria is completed, being safe for the, 3 months?
Yes.
Yeah, we got a 3-month period. Once they do all the criteria, they're eligible for a $50 gift card to spend at our SSC Gym website for Bass Pro Shops and Nike and stuff like that.
Cool.
Overall, SSC staff have performed above and beyond expectations. Throughout the year, the team continued to knock off several lists of stuff that we couldn't get to over the summer, such as scrubbing bathrooms, cleaning carpets, and we even got to recode a few surfaces on campus that we didn't get to.
The cute picture was my kids. They decorate their
Yes.
doors in the middle school.
Every chance they get.
So every month their door
The
has
one that
something.
says we'd be a mess without you?
Yes.
Yes.
That is so
Our
cute.
service learning group decorates the janitor's door upstairs and downstairs to make them feel special.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It really makes a difference. It boosts the morale. It really does. Just an update on day shift. We kind of adjusted the schedule. At first, everybody was going into the cafeterias and they were helping with the lunch cleanup and everything. But I noticed while everybody was in there, the district was taking a downfall during that time of lunch, and that's a pretty extensive long time. From 10:30 to 1:30, they're in there for cleanup. So what I did was I put the 3 people in the cafeteria and we got 1 person that's floating around checking the bathrooms. In my head, I was thinking, well, what if somebody comes to visit the school? They're gonna go in there on lunch and nobody's gonna be in there for cleaning the bathrooms, cleaning stuff up. It's gonna look like a mess. So now we got that 1 person floating around, cleaning up the bathrooms, responding to the calls. That was another thing in the cafeteria. You don't always hear the walking. The kids get loud. Another thing, the trash trailer was requested to be moved back to its original location. We did that. Night shift has assumed the responsibility of dumping the trash now. Other than that, day shift continues to exceed expectations. I'm always getting positive feedback, and John can agree on that as well. We're always getting good feedback on day shift and night shift. Night shift update. Night shift's gone through constant state changes, but continues to do excellent work. Whether it be cleaning around functions or activities that we had no idea about, or team cleaning because of call-outs. Night shift has 12 positions across campus. We've appointed 3 leads. They kind of share the supervisor's duties, quality control checks, supply stockings, and being my main line of communication after hours. Everyone we brought on has been quick learners and all around great employees. So the summer planning, it's kind of not really set in stone. We're still getting plans from building admin as we go about it, but that's no problem. We can work around that.
That quote?
Where
Where did you get that quote?
That's what I asked you.
I heard it a long time ago. If it's your job, eat a frog. It's best thing to do it in the morning. Go ahead and get it out of the way. So that's why we're gonna start at the middle school. That's gonna be, what's our biggest area? Not that we have anything against the middle school. That's our biggest area, so we want to go ahead and get that one out of the way, get everybody on the schedule. We'll be breaking off into several teams this summer because we'll be working with 12 people instead of 7 like we did last summer. So we expect it to go pretty smooth.
Good.
Here's some of the things that I'll be looking for on our summer checklist. And this is a big one for anybody that's going to be on campus during the summertime. If you walk into a building, you notice, hey, maybe SSC's in here. Look on a door, you'll be able to see a checklist on the door. And it'll tell you what we've done in that room or what we will be doing in that room. So that's going to kind of rule out the coming in and walking on wet wax. And,
Gotcha.
Where are you guys at?
Yeah. Good.
On behalf of the Fountain Lake SSA team, we'd like to say thank you for your outstanding support and our progress here. We hope we have exceeded your expectations of excellence and continue to do so in our upcoming years as partners of the Fountain Lake School District. Yeah, I typed that myself. There was one last slide on there for the.
Yeah, we do want to, yeah, you want to talk about those last ones for sure. Chat GPT wrote that.
That's right.
Hey, that's a lifesaver.
So it's the there you go.
You can go ahead and go to the next one. You guys already know we offer ground management.
Yep.
Stuff like that now. So with the new business slide that I was asked to add in, this is covering the grounds up at the football field. We're looking to hire July 1st. That's going to be a part-time position, 4 hours a day, year-round. I think it was like 240 days a year. I think it's the number we spit out.
It was.
The responsibilities of this person is going to include, but definitely will not be limited to, debris cleanup on and around the field and track, the south entrance and south parking, on and around the bleachers, blowing leaves and pine needles on and around the field and track, and the use of the commercial vacuum to suck up and dispose of the compost at an approved place on top of the hill. The pictures, I didn't get to take the 3 on the right off. The one piece of equipment that we are going to go with is the vacuum on the left side, because everything else we have here on campus.
And you tow that behind a
Yes.
mule or whatever?
We're going to use a mule, that's what we think. We really just do not have a way to effectively get all of that debris out of the chain link fence. We do a pretty good job blowing it around, and the wind seems to do a pretty good job blowing it back.
Yeah.
And so we need more time, and the intentionality behind that is the rationale behind this partnership. As you well know, with the investment of a new field, track, and another role that this person would take on is, I think, weekly or every other week, we would be sweeping the field with the new
pull behinds, part of our, for our ATG package, we're getting 2 devices, one that has a magnet that sits about, 1 to 2 inches off the turf, and any hair pins, bobby pins will get, magnetized up to that magnet, and then I don't know what the right term is, more like a fluffer, that fluffs the turf.
But that helps
and
keeps it healthy and extends the life of it. And that's all a part of what we're going to do to hopefully, when you enter that space up there, it looks more pristine. Now, I would tell you that we're trimming right now up through there down, and part of the beauty of what the space creates, it also creates a lot of debris that we have to figure out how to manage. And that's the pine needles and leaves that kind of coincide the environment there. Thank you for the presentation.
Good job, Josh.
Very good job. We'll be back to you a little later in the agenda with an action item.
All right.
Oh, can't wait for this.
I know.
I'm my first perfect.
What's that? Your first point?
Perfect.
Oh,
I noticed that. It's your first one.
Yeah, so,
But that was in May, not April, right?
Oh, shoot, that's next.
yeah, so again, Chief Raleigh does these walkthroughs, he visits the principals, really good report for both months.
May's here, what was that?
Yeah.
May was good.
May and, yeah,
I'll
this is
go
both
through
months.
Your day was perfect.
I craved
Okay.
Hey, it's the little things.
It
That's
is.
right.
Yeah, it is.
You know when you say the same things to people like 400 times and you just
Yes.
finally get to see it?
And you're like, yes, you're listening. Good job. All right, is that it for you, Hayden?
That is it for now. We done,
All right.
new business.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
You have just a couple of things?
Couple of things, but first,
We're gonna be
here
quick.
is.
Oh, there's the dress.
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, we got the flutter dress.
Yeah. There's the dress,
That is Walmart?
and there's the cake.
Wow.
That's all recycled products. Mr. Wire sent me these pictures, and you kind of see it.
That is really cool, out of Walmart bags.
So I wanted to be sure that you had a chance to see that.
Yes,
The importance of
amazing.
that is amazing.
And then I wanted to share with you on the State Department website, the regular website, not the Learn's website, you have the link to the 2023 K-12 English Language Arts standards that have now been adopted by the state and are to be fully implemented next spring. And Ms. Curry and Ms. Inman, I know Ms. Curry had a bullet on her report where her staff is going through making sure, particularly since they're standards-based report cards in the elementary, that we're aligned, those standards are aligned to our report cards. Also on the state website, you have the new K-8 and Algebra 1 and Geometry mathematics standards that have been adopted.
Okay.
So wanted to share those with you. And then we have the preliminary testing calendar for next year. You get down here at the Atlas Summative. That's what is going to replace the ACT Aspire next year. It's a product from Cambion, and the big piece that is significant with that is that we are shifting back, like we were with the old benchmark test, to having end-of-course exams, end-of-course literacy, and end-of-course math at Algebra 1 and Geometry levels. So that testing changes next year.
And what do y'all think of Atlas?
Well, we don't know anything about it yet.
Okay. I didn't know if like,
We've seen
is
absolutely
Arkansas
nothing.
gonna be the only state using it
I
like
don't
this? ACT
believe
Probably
Aspire?
Florida as well.
It was actually adopted before Florida,
There we go.
so
Had to say
I'm
that.
not sure.
Okay, I'm just
Very
was curious.
comfortable.
We're,
We are not the only state that will be using it.
Okay.
Cambion is a product that's owned by Lexia Learning, which is one of the largest companies in the US. So
Okay.
it will be widely used.
Okay.
Because now you have to have interim assessments as well that have to be coordinated. So a lot of other states already have these policies.
Okay.
And so that company offers both together.
Okay.
So,
Good.
but we've seen zero as to what it
Nothing.
will look like or what it.
You will the week before we have to give it.
There we go.
no, we actually
Later
did go
this
to a
summer,
training in
yeah.
June.
Oh, good.
And
And this
there'll
is
be
the
some training coming up.
statewide assessment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I just wanted to bring you up to date on those things today.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. And we don't have any public comment?
No, ma'am.
All right. Let's go to our new business.
Motion to approve 2023-24 certified and classified salary schedules.
Okay. These are the ones we talked about last month. No changes, right? So we all know what's in there. Does the board have any questions about any of that? I know we discussed it extensively last month. All right, so the motion is to approve the 23-24 certified and classified salary schedule. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. That motion is carried 5-0. Next motion.
Motion to approve retention recruitment bonuses for 23-24 in the amount of $5,000 for certified and $2,500 for classified to be paid from ESSER funds in November 2023.
We also discussed this at length last time. What, if any, questions do you have?
Is that paid on a separate check, or how's that gonna work? Does it matter how they do that?
It'll be one check.
It'll be in with their payroll check.
It will be.
It's part of the payroll check, yes.
Yes.
All right, the motion is to approve a retention recruitment bonus for 23-24 in the amount of $5,000 for certified, $2,500 for classified to be paid from ESSER funds in November 2023. All in favor say aye. Aye. None opposed, that motion is approved, 5-0.
Motion to approve the SSC janitorial services contract, including option A for 23-24 in the amount of $742,747.23.
All right, we've heard from Josh, I think, and let me see if I'm correct in this, the contract, employees received about a, 5% raise? The cost of living adjustment?
I think it was 3.
3%.
Okay,
CPI.
okay. So 3% across the board there. And then we are adding the option A, which is to add the groundskeeper person,
Yes.
4 hours a day.
And that piece of equipment.
And the equipment is part of that.
Oh, yes, and the equipment is part of that. That leaf.
I think it was like 19,000.
Yeah.
How
we own the equipment?
Yes, we will own the equipment,
Right.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. What questions do y'all have regarding that contract? None? So the motion is to approve the SSC janitorial services contract, including option A for 23-24 in the amount of $742,747.23. All in favor, say aye. Aye. None opposed, that motion is approved, 5-0.
Motion to approve Dawson COVID grant purchase in the amount of $41,660.36.
So the way we're going to use this COVID grant is through SSC, and we will be purchasing, you can see the attachment there. It is some kind of, well, Josh, tell us about it.
All right, so when he asked me to help him with this, one of the things I had to keep in mind was storage. Couldn't go ordering a whole lot of equipment and be able to store it within fire code.
Right.
So some of the stuff is smaller stuff. We've got stuff on there that will be used by both us and Chartwell's in the cafeterias.
Okay.
The top one is a scrubber. And then we have cleaners that go for the scrubbers, battery replacements for the handheld sprayers. Those are electrostatic disinfectant sprayers.
Okay.
They're state of the art, very good. The chlorinated disinfectant tablets, that's for those handheld sprayers. The 3-in-1 nozzles are for those sprayers as well. They tend to clog up a lot. The Medify air purification, that's one thing that we had kind of discussed previously in the year with the field houses, was the stench that comes out of the locker rooms and the viruses and everything else that was being carried in there. They were getting, staph?
Right.
So that was one thing I added on there.
Are all 8 of those going to the field house?
No, all the locker rooms, that'll be in all the locker rooms.
All locker rooms.
Okay, okay.
And then, of course, we got filters for the replacements on that.
Good. Good use of our grant money. All right, any questions? The motion is to approve the Dawson COVID grant purchase in the amount of $41,660.36. All in favor, say aye. Aye. None opposed, that motion is approved, 5-0.
Motion to approve the Chartwell's contract for 2023 through 2028.
So this is a 5-year contract. And we just got this, so none of us have really had a chance to look it over. So give us a highlight. I don't want to have to look through 128 pages.
So the whole process started back probably 4 or 5 months ago. It's been a very long process. We just got all of our bids in last Thursday. We had a bid opening. Myself, Dr. Murphy, Mr. Campbell, and Tanya sat here. No one showed the bid opening besides Chartwell's. We had 2 bids total, Chartwell's and Taher, Taher, Taher is your name. They have Taher has 4 schools in the state of Arkansas. So we did a scoring sheet between us 4, scored it correctly, determined we do want to stay at Chartwell's as our FSMC, Food Service Management Contract. It was submitted to the state and it was approved today at 4:15. So we just got it linked in time.
Yes.
So pretty much what's changing, we're currently at roughly, our cost right now, 28 cents per bill. Going on page 19, Mr. Campbell, I think it's going to 30 cents. 31.
Page 31?
No, 31.
31 cents.
31 cents, so from 28 to 31 is the
Okay.
change, which is still really competitive in the food service market.
Okay.
On the administrative fee, pretty a lot hit there. We're looking at $3,200 even for an administrative fee of, letting Chartwell's manage, operate our food service program. So $3,200 increase, so pretty minimal impact on the food service side. We're very pleased with Chartwell's, love the partnership. They've done phenomenal, all of our a la carte sales. They're just doing a tremendous job in that kitchen. And again, for the space that we have, serving K-12 out of one location, they're rock stars in that location. So they're doing a great job.
All right, what questions do y'all have for, about the contract? And I know we haven't had time to look it over.
Right.
So we're nothing major is changing.
Nothing
The
major
rates
is
go up a
changing.
slight little bit, but other than that, nothing major.
Right.
And overall, I would comment that what you've seen in terms of your surplus relative to food service under the contractual agreement with them, you have grown your balances and been able to make some expenditure upgrades along the way. So we feel confident that we can continue to maintain surplus in our food service category. That's Fund 8.
Yeah. Okay, so the motion is to approve the Chartwell's contract for 2023 through 2028. All in favor, say aye. Aye. None opposed. That motion is approved 5-0. We've got a couple of personnel ones, but I don't think it will, we'll ask. So go ahead, Brian.
Motion to accept the retirement or resignation from the personnel below for the correlating positions for upcoming 23-24 school year. Shanna Sweeten, special education teacher, Valerie Walson, elementary teacher.
Okay, are there any questions that we would need to adjourn to executive session for? If not, the motion is to accept the retirement or resignation from the personnel below for the correlating positions for the upcoming 23-24 school year. Shanna Sweden, special ed teacher, and Valerie Wasson, elementary teacher. All in favor, say aye. Aye. None opposed. That motion is approved 5-0.
Motion to hire the following for the correlating positions for the upcoming 23-24 school year. Morgan Wallace, senior high cheer sponsor. Stephen Bellamy, junior high quiz bowl sponsor. Shelby Hamilton, senior high quiz bowl sponsor. Edie Boudreau, special education teacher. And Jocelyn Mount, elementary teacher.
Okay, again, are there questions that anyone has that would require us to go to executive session? If not, the motion is to hire the following for their correlating positions for the upcoming 23-24 school year. Morgan Wallace, senior high cheer sponsor. Stephen Bellamy, junior high quiz bowl sponsor. Shelby Hamilton, senior high quiz bowl sponsor. Edie Boudreau, special education teacher, and Jocelyn Mount, elementary teacher. All in favor say aye. Aye. None opposed. That motion is approved 5-0.
Motion to hire the following as temporary summer school paraprofessionals. Matthew Inman, Ashley Macon, Molly Davis, Amy Buxton, Sherry McKellar.
No questions there, so,
What are these for?
middle school or all grades?
It's for all grades. We have several weeks throughout the summer that teachers will be absent, like for a vacation, or we already know they won't be there. So we have to have staff to fill in for the time that they're.
For summer school?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So these are like subs for summer school,
Mhm.
sort of?
Yeah, and
Okay.
support personnel.
Will they be working every day? with
No, like my husband's on there, for example, he's covering 2 weeks of someone's vacation.
Okay,
Just as needed, mainly.
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, so the
It just
motion
gives us the authorization to use.
to use them and pay them to fill in.
Yes.
Motion to hire the following as temporary summer school paraprofessionals: Matthew Inman, Ashley Macon, Molly Davis, Amy Buxton, and Sherry McKellar. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed, that motion is approved 5-0. And unless anybody has anything else,
Shout out
We-
to prom.
yeah, prom was good out
Hey,
here.
I did hear that,
Good things, right?
I heard it was awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, that's coming from a 16-year-old. I said it was awesome.
good. Okay, our meeting is adjourned.